Hello students, in this video I will discuss the short questions from Ranga's marriage, and short questions are to be written within 30 to 40 words each. So I am coming to the very first question. Why did Shama feel that Ratna was the perfect girl for Ranga? Why a feeling came in the mind of Shama that Ratna was the perfect choice for Ranga? Shama had known Ranga and Ratna for several years. The two had been well educated and were sent to the city to have advanced education. Besides, Shama was sure that Ranga and Ratna had fallen in love on the very first meeting. Not only that, no, they learned a bit. Ratna learned harmonium, can sing properly, uh, was also a city girl, knows a bit of mannerisms of the city, and Ranga also went to Bangalore for higher studies. So the narrator Shama felt that yes, they are suitable for each other, and he also felt that both of them started liking each other from their first meeting. I am moving on to the next question, number 2. Here I quote: "Words, mere words. The fellow said he would leave there, but he did not make a move. How can one expect words to match actions in these days of Kali Yuga? Who said these words and in what context?" The narrator spoke these words when Ranga admitted that he should not have come to interrupt Ratna's singing, and Ranga decided to move out from the house. But it seems that actions and words, they don't match each other in these days of Kali Yuga. Why? Because Ranga told the narrator that let me leave from this place because me being a stranger, she felt uncomfortable listening to singing in front of me. It's better that I should move out, but Ranga stayed in the same place. Impressed by her singing and charm, Ranga wished to stay there, yet he said that he had come in the wrong time and said he must go, but he stayed there, fixed at his own seat. Now I am moving on to the third question. How did Shama infer that Ranga had fallen in love with Ratna? That means, how did Shama come to the conclusion that Ranga had fallen in love with Ratna? There is a hint related with this answer. So let me explain the hint to you all. Ratna stopped singing. Ranga stayed even after admitting his presence has stopped Ratna from singing. So maybe there is care, there is compassion, there is love, there is a sense of responsibility that Ranga wants to take for Ratna. These things was guessed by the narrator. Ranga asked who she was. Ranga developed headache when he was told Ratna had been married a year ago. And not only that, when that fake news was being told to Ranga that Ratna had been married a year ago, it was a heart broke. It was, it broke the heart of Ranga. Now that also made the narrator realize that Ranga had fallen in love with Ratna. I am moving on to question number 4. How did the narrator carry out his resolve to get Ranga married to Ratna? Now, how he carried out the entire plan of getting Ranga married to Ratna? The narrator felt that Ranga and Ratna was a suitable match for each other. He arranged a meeting in which Ranga could meet Ratna and get impressed with her quality of singing. And it was actually a pre-plan. That is the reason Ratna came with the buttermilk, because it was also been planned by Shama, and Ranga also came at that moment when Ratna was singing Krishnamurti in front of my eyes. The narrator was a frequent visitor to Rama Rao's place, and Ratna was quite free with him. On a Friday, he called Ratna to his house to deliver the buttermilk made by Rama Rao's wife. He asked Ratna to sing for him and sent for Ranga at the same time. Ranga arrived while Ratna was rendering, or when Ratna was singing the melodious song. In this way, Ranga was able to meet her there. He manipulated things in a clever way, and the entire plan was executed successfully, we can say, and it made Ranga fall in love with Ratna. Now I am moving on to question number 5. Who was Ranga? What was special about him? What was so special about Ranga? Ranga was the village accountant's son who had gone to Bangalore to study. People thought that city education would change him, but they were wrong. He still showed respect towards elders in the village and wore the sacred thread. The people thought that 6 months later, when he would come back, he would be a changed man, but they were wrong. Their perception was totally wrong, because he still remained humble, he still remained well grounded, and he was very polite in his behavior. However, his views on marriage had changed, because now his clear cut philosophy is that I will marry the girl whom I admire. That was his clear cut philosophy, and he strictly adhered to it. Now, dear students, I am moving on to question number 6. Did Ranga change when he returned from Bangalore? Ranga didn't change. Similar question, answer will be same only, as the villagers had feared. After his return from Bangalore, where he had been studying for 6 months, much to everyone's surprise, Ranga was just the same, except for the English language he had learnt in the city. His behavior, his mannerisms, he was well grounded, he was still humble and polite. Only one change, and that was a very positive one: impact of Western education, impact of modernization, impact of learning the English language. That is the only change. He learnt it in the Bangalore city. However, he had developed a mature understanding about marriage. And another change, if it can be considered a change, yes, why not? His progressive mentality, not towards his outlook regarding other things, but his progressive mentality towards conjugal love, his progressive mentality towards marriage. That also is something that is a change that can be noticed in him. Now I am moving on to my next question. How does the narrator refer to the black hole of Calcutta? I talked about this regarding Sirajudullah and all those things, how 33 people were inside the black hole. So let me come to that particular explanation part here in this answer. During the British rule in Calcutta, hundreds of people were herded together in one room. Hence leading to the death of many due to suffocation. It was during the reign of the Nawab of Bengal, Sirajudullah. The narrator compared the crowd to the black hole of Calcutta, saying that so many people who had gone to see Ranga would have turned the place into a black hole if they had all gone inside. So that there lies the comparison. I am moving on to my next question. Why does Ranga disagree with marrying at a very young age? What was the reason why he disagreed to marry at a very young age? What was the reason for that? Ranga was of the view that one should not marry a very young girl. A person should marry a girl who is mature. According to him, a man should marry a girl whom he admires. Now, according to him, one should marry a girl whom one admires. That was his, dear students, that was his clear-cut philosophy. I am moving on to question number 9 now. Did Ranga select his bride according to the views he held on the subject of marriage? Did Ranga select his bride? No, it was selected by Shama for him, the potential matchmaker. No, Ranga did not select his bride according to his ideas on marriage. He fell in love with an 11-year-old girl, Ratna, and finally got married to her. So his ideology regarding I will marry only a mature girl, I will not marry a young girl who might be silly, to whom words spoken in love might be considered as words spoken in anger, but finally he married Ratna, and Ratna was only 11 years old at that time. This is a humorous story. Which part did you find the most amusing? Now, yes, it is a humorous story. Now, which part do you find most interesting? Let's come to the answer. The description of the village of Hosahalli evokes some humor in the story. The narrator and Ranga's visit to the astrologer and their conversation produce a few comic moments in the story. Not only the description done by Masti Venkatesha Iyengar related with his native village Hosahalli, that was very humorous, that was very comic. Apart from that, the conversation that the narrator had with Sastri in presence of Ranga related with his marriage with Ratna, and all the setup plan and how it was being executed, the conversation, the dialogues that the narrator shared with Sastri, that Sastri shared with the narrator and Ranga, that part was also very humorous. Now I am coming to question number 11. What impression do you form of the narrator? How does he add to the humor of the story? Now, character sketch of the narrator of Shama. The narrator appears to be a very talkative man, and he was a matchmaker by profession. So since he was a matchmaker by profession, he had to be a talkative man. He jumps from one topic to another. There are too many digressions in his narration. He takes a lot of interest in village affairs. He decides to get Ranga married to Ratna as soon as he realizes that they seem suitable for each other. The narration evokes the humor in the story when he manipulates the situation in a very clever way. The astrologer remarks and the meeting between Ranga and Ratna add to the humor of the story. He was the one. He can be said to be the main conspirator. He was the one can be cited as the main schemer. He was the one who executed the entire plan. He was the mastermind behind each and every plan, and all the plan was being done perfectly. And who are the players? Sastriji was a player. He played the maximum role because he already got the information regarding Ranga from the narrator, and the narrator also plays a very important role, one of the major character in the story, and apart from Ranga, and it was because of him that Ranga got married to Ratna. I am moving on to question number 12 now. What are the narrator's views on English language? The narrator did not like English language. English was not spoken by the villagers. Ranga was the first person to go out of the village to study English, and when he returned, he went on speaking in English and used a bit of English words also. People felt that he would be a changed person after getting English education, but he stayed humble, he stayed grounded. Only a change is that his ideology regarding conjugal love, regarding marriage, it underwent a change. And apart from that, he went on speaking in English. Now, apart from those two things, there was no other change in him. I am moving on to question number 13 now. Why does the author equate his countrymen to a flock of sheep? Very important question. At the very beginning of the chapter, this particular incident has been mentioned. So let me come to the answer. According to the author, Masti Venkatesha Iyengar expressed extreme aversion to his countrymen's slave attitude to the Western culture. And that is the reason he criticized the Indian geographers, and he felt pity for the cartographer of not mentioning about the village Hosahalli in the map. He is of the opinion that Indians are like a flock of sheep who blindly believed that the British were always right and they blindly followed them. Because of this attitude, people hesitate to believe that there are places like Hosahalli because a British cartographer didn't mark it when he made the map years ago. Now, the important thing is that the countrymen should not be blamed because the British cartographers haven't mentioned it in the map when they prepared the map. I am moving on to the next question, question number 14. Where is Hosahalli? Why does the author talk about Hosahalli with great enthusiasm? Hosahalli is a place in Karnataka, the erstwhile Mysore state. And it is a very integral part of Mysore. That was been compared with the sweet dish Karigadabu. I hope, dear students, you remember that one. The author is greatly enthusiastic about Hosahalli because it is his birthplace, and that is the reason he gets diverted from the main topic of Ranga's marriage when the thing regarding his village comes to the forefront, when the news regarding his village comes to the forefront. Dear students, I have explained 14 questions in this video. In my next video, I will explain the remaining short questions. Listen to it and clarify your doubts. Thank you, students. Thank you all.